What's good? It's Extreme Culture. Today I'm going to be doing a different type video tonight. Different type video that I typically do for my typical weekly show reviews. Today I'm going to be going over 5 WWE wrestlers that I believe should get a huge push sooner rather than later, whether it's in 2025 or 2026. But these are 5 wrestlers that I think deserve a push. First wrestler we're going to start off with is Sami Zayn. If you guys watch my content, you guys know I'm a huge Sami Zayn supporter. I love Sami Zayn. I think he is one of the most underrated superstars, wrestlers of all time, and just in general right now. He gets a lot of hate from the IWC, which is kind of ridiculous. The main hate and the main criticism he get is that he's an underdog and that they're tired of him playing the underdog gimmick, which I do understand to a degree, but I also believe that Sami Zayn to this day is still a underdog. I do believe that they do drag it out a bit and he does go a little too far at times to a degree, but against other main event talent, Sami Zayn is an underdog. If you put him against Seth Rollins, he's an underdog. Put him against Jey Uso, he's an underdog in that situation. Even though he beat him at WrestleMania 39, it was for the tag titles, but he is still have not captured that world title. In my opinion, should have captured the world title. And hot take, if Cody wasn't around, Sami Zayn is easily the best person to dethrone Roman Reigns. A lot of people go with Drew McIntyre, but in my opinion, if it wasn't for Cody, Sami Zayn was the best choice to dethrone Roman Reigns. He was the perfect choice in my opinion, but Cody Rhodes was also a perfect choice as well. But Sami Zayn should win the world title. I've been wanting Sami Zayn to win the world title since his inclusion with the Bloodline. I've been wanting him. He deserves to win a world title. It is long overdue. I was hoping that when Seth Rollins got injured around, WrestleMania season, around the Royal Rumble, even before then, I was saying that they could do Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn for the world title at WrestleMania 40 if Seth Rollins has to vacate it. But we saw that play out. Seth Rollins didn't have to vacate the title. He was able to carry it all the way to Mania 40 to have the match against Drew McIntyre. But I've been wanting Sami Zayn to be a world champion for a while. Now, I have given up on that dream for a bit. Now, there is hope because Royal Rumble is in Saudi Arabia, and he is a fan favorite in Saudi Arabia, so there is hope. Now, I'm going to keep my expectations low because I'm not going to expect him to actually pull the trigger, but Sami Zayn is so underrated from mic work, and he's one of the best in-ring workers as well. People do not talk about how great Sami Zayn is in-ring. It's very hard to have a bad Sami Zayn match, but bro, he could play a good baby face, great heel, great in-ring. There's really not really a flaw in his art, in his entire persona, or as a character, or as a wrestler in general. He literally has little to no flaws in my opinion. Sami Zayn is great. He deserves a push. Now it looks like they're teasing something with the United States title, which I don't mind. I'm hoping this is just a side quest, but he should be absolutely a world champion. He should be considered constantly in that main event scene in my opinion. Now we're going to move on to one of the more loved people in the IWC, which is Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes, his NXT run was amazing. Him being a North American champion, NXT champion, his feud and friendship with Trick Williams that really elevated him. But Carmelo Hayes has everything you want in a top superstar, from charisma, in-ring ability. He has a solid look. He has decent mic skill. He has everything you would want in a main eventer. And for whatever reason, Triple H just books him like a jobber. Now, it looks like they are booking him a little better on the recent episodes of SmackDown. It looks like they're teasing the breakup of Melo Don't Miz. It looks like they're teasing a breakup, which can lead to something. Melo can easily be a top heel on SmackDown with ease. He should have, in my opinion, he should have been the one to dethrone LA Knight, in my opinion. I still am salty that he wasn't in the U.S. title picture after that whole triple threat that him, LA Knight, and Andrade had. That it just ended up going to Shinsuke for whatever reason. I don't know why. That led to nothing. I still don't understand why Triple H pulled the trigger on Shinsuke just to do nothing with him when you could have easily built up a new star, a new guy, going eventually into the main event with Carmelo Hayes. But hopefully things get better, even though I kind of already given up on the Carmelo Hayes push. But Carmelo Hayes literally has everything you want in a top guy. I don't know what it is that he's missing that Triple H don't see in him, that he sees in others, that don't make him get the push. Because it's kind of ridiculous, in my opinion, that people like Lyra, Braun, Tiffany Stratton, who all got drafted who all got called up at the same time, all became champions before him. And it makes no sense. I understand Braun Breaker, and I understand Tiffany Stratton, because when they got called up, I was like, they're easily going to be champion with the first year or so. Lyra Valkyria, even though I love Lyra, she's a bit confusing because I didn't think she was going to get the push that she got when she got on the main roster. And two, I don't understand it because I like Lyra, I do. I'm higher on her than most, but there's no way you're telling me that Lyra is more talented than Carmelo. Outside of in-ring ability, Carmelo has everything that beats Lyra, from charisma, microphone work, character work. So I don't understand where her push is really coming from. Even though I do think she deserves it, there's just other reasons I'm not understanding. Because I understand Tiffany and Braun, I could get them getting pushed, but I don't understand the push for Lyra, but not for Melo. If I just don't understand it, in my opinion. But Carmelo Hayes should easily be in the United States title picture. Even if he gets moved over to Raw, you can easily put him on Raw, let him go after Dominic Mysterio. Even though it's a heel and heel dynamic, I still think it could kind of work. Or you could push him as a babyface. Either way, Carmelo Hayes is extremely underrated and deserves a huge push. Now we're going to move over to NXT, focusing on the women, and we're going to go with Zarya, the best friend of Sol Ruka. Now, this one really disappointed me. I was excited for when Stephanie, Julia, and Zarya all came up to NXT, only to be left disappointed. I was not the biggest fan of Julia, Stephanie, all three of them in NXT, mainly because they was all playing a similar role, and they was all being baby faces, and they was all being booked a little too dominant and taking roles and spots from other women. And it kind of halted the show, in my opinion. I think the show now is a lot better than it was when all three of them was on the show. Now, the one that stand out to me the most was Zarya. Yes, I know that's wild between Julia, Stephanie, and that is shocking that Zarya is the one that stood out for me the most. I like Stephanie Vaquer, Julia not so much, but Zarya really stood out to me because I think that she has a good character. I think her in-ring ability is great. And I really think that if you really book her right, she could be that next, like, dominant woman in NXT. Like, you could basically book her like a Rhea Ripley in NXT. But that's basically what you could do. You could basically make her like the Rhea Ripley of NXT or the Brock Lesnar of NXT, like, for the women. Like, she has that potential. She's decent on the mic. She could cut a all right promo. I really enjoy watching her. The only thing I don't like is that she's basically like a sidekick or a background to Sol Ruka, which wouldn't be a problem if they was teasing the story of them eventually breaking up. But the problem is they teased it, then they stopped. Like, they're not even teasing it no more, which I find very upsetting because I thought that she was going to be the next North American Women's Champion, but clearly that's not the direction they're going, which is very upsetting because I really felt like that the push that Stephanie Vaquer and Julia got in NXT, Zarya should have got. I'm just going to be honest. I think Zarya has an argument for being better than both of them from an overall package standpoint. If you think Stephanie is better or Julia is better, that's fine. But I think Zarya has the complete package as a women's wrestler. Very underrated. Hopefully they book her well and start pushing her as a dominant threat, because in my opinion, she should be easily going after the women's North American title picture or even the NXT women's title picture, in my opinion. But Zarya is extremely underrated, man. Very underappreciated. Hopefully she get a huge push. The next woman I'm going to talk about is Tatum Paxley. Tatum Paxley, one of my favorite women's wrestlers of all time. The character that she plays of them being this very naive, over obsessed woman over friends. Like, I love her character. Her gimmick is crazy. It's very unique. No one plays a character like hers. And she's just amazing. She's amazing in ring, great character development. She can easily play a good babyface, even play a good heel. Her stuff with Lyra Valkyria was some of the best stuff that I have ever seen as a wrestling fan. Bro, she is so underappreciated. It is so ridiculous how over she is and that she doesn't get booked properly. Like, it is ridiculous. I thought they was going to pull the trigger with the whole Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley storyline. Now, I do understand why they went with Roxanne Perez, in my opinion. I think it made sense, but I easily thought that they could have easily had her dethrone Roxanne Perez, in my opinion. It made sense because shortly after her triple threat match, if I'm not mistaken, after she faced Lyra and Roxanne, or it was at Stand and Deliver, if I'm not mistaken, she ended up having like a huge vignette segment where she was saying she was obsessed with championship gold and that's the reason why she turned on Lyra, when she just completely forgot about chasing NXT championship gold once Lyra left. So felt that was very unfortunate and very lazy, in my opinion. I really wish she would go after the women's North American. Well, she did recently go after, but she lost where we knew she wasn't going to win. But I believe that she should really be at the top of the card. She could easily be in the main event scene or even at the women's North American title picture, in my opinion. She's great. Mic work. She has everything you want. And she's a very unique character. Her being this weird, obsessed, naive character, being very obsessed with friendship. Like, it's such a weird gimmick, but it works. Like, I really love her character. she's the most underrated and underappreciated and underutilized woman in NXT, in all of wrestling, to be honest with you. Very great. Wish she'd get a huge push. Don't think it's going to happen, but she is one of the few people that really deserves a push. Now, the last person I want to talk about is Miss Parker. Miss Parker. Now, this one may be a bit controversial because she is one of the top stars in NXT, but her booking is very confusing and very weird. For someone who is as over as Jada Parker, it is very weird that they have not put a title on her in NXT. It's very weird and doesn't make any sense. Lola Vice just got a number one contender, just won a number one contendership match to face Jacy Jayne at No Mercy. I don't understand it, and it's very confusing. Now, I know she had championship matches before, but to be fair, she was always going to lose those matches. Like, we all knew Jada Parker was not going to beat Stephanie Vaquer whenever she was going to face her. Like, it's just very confusing and it don't really make much sense. And plus, she gets a lot of very 50-50 booking where one moment she wins, next moment she loses. It's very weird. I don't understand it. She is top 3 in NXT in terms of over. You could argue she's number 2. Outside of Trick Williams, you could argue she's the second most over person in NXT. The only other person you could debate is Oba Femi. So I don't understand her booking. It makes no sense. And I don't understand what is it that Shawn Michaels isn't seeing in her. The only thing you could argue is in ring, but I think she's solid in ring. I don't think she's bad or great, but she's a decent in ring wrestler. And from a character standpoint, her being this like bougie, overconfident woman, it works. It's great. Mike's skills is amazing, and she comes off very natural and authentic. Like, I love her character. I wish she would get pushed way better than what she is. She can easily go after that women's NXT championship picture, dethrone Jacy Jayne. Now, to be fair, you could say that's a weird dynamic between the two, but I think it works because Jada Parker is the most over woman in your entire division, so she's going to be the babyface regardless. And then you can easily build up a new top heel by Jada Parker being the most over woman in your division. I think it's perfect, but you guys let me know your overall thoughts and opinions. Let me know who are your wrestlers you think deserve a push. Let me know if you like this type of style of content. But if you like daily wrestling content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.